Disturbing allegations tonight that the foster system in San Diego County failed children they were supposed to protect.
Our Team 10 investigator Adam Rakusin has been looking into these claims for weeks, and this was quite a discovery.
Yeah, and this case alleges sexual assault of children, so there's some pretty serious allegations in this. When you start asking questions about the child welfare system in San Diego County, the adults in charge shut down and closed ranks. Critics question whether the rules of confidentiality designed to protect children are actually doing more to shield social services from scrutiny.
We can't show you the kids in these pictures. We can't tell you their names. That information's confidential to protect their identities. But that same confidentiality that's in place to protect them may also be protecting a child welfare system some believe failed them.
My children are going to have to live a lifetime trying to get over and deal with this trauma.
This is Melanie. She's the woman in the pictures. She's the adoptive mother to most of these kids. Melanie's also a foster parent.
I became a foster parent because I did want to make a difference in children's lives that didn't have families.
Melanie says she became a foster parent about a decade ago. She wanted to give children in need a safe, loving home.
They all play sports, so just watching them grow and advance in life is just probably the biggest joy.
But Melanie says a foster placement back in 2015 ripped that joy right out of the home.
One of these prospective adopted children end up sexually assaulting all three of Melanie's adopted sons.
Jomo Stewart is Melanie's lawyer. They filed this lawsuit against the County of San Diego, several county employees, and a national foundation that focuses on foster care. It claims Melanie was told a foster child had no history of sexual misconduct or any history of wrongdoing. The suit claims social services concealed the child's past issues and put the other kids in unreasonable harm.
She asked social services whether or not these children had any type of mental health issues, had any previous history of being sexually abused, or any previous history of sexually acting out. And all answers to those questions were no.
Court documents claim about a month after taking the child into her home, the child began to act out. There were incidents of smearing feces on the wall and downloading and watching pornography. Then things escalated. The suit claims there were several incidents of sexual and physical violence against the other children in the home over the next year, some so graphic we can't repeat the details. Even rape, the victim traumatized, still in counseling, trying to deal with it. After each incident, Melanie says she reached out to county social services employees seeking help.
Sometimes there was no response at all. Sometimes they said that they were going to place a report. I'd follow up on the report. I wouldn't get any information.
This is not an isolated incident, Adam. I think that if you were to pull the foster parent in the county of San Diego, this would be very common.
Which part?
What's common is the lack of action by many social workers.
The county wouldn't do an on-camera interview with us. However, they did respond to the lawsuit in a 25-page court filing asking that it be dismissed. It says the records in the county's possession at the time the child was placed in the home didn't have any information that would have alerted them that the child may pose a risk of harm. They also claim there are no factual allegations to support that they failed to take appropriate action. After each incident, they did take action by filing a report and commencing an investigation.
Is it surprising to you to see allegations like this against San Diego County and the foster system?
No, the foster system, not just in San Diego County, but statewide, is completely and totally broken.
This very situation is something Sean McMillan's seen before. He's a San Diego attorney that specializes in child welfare cases, one of only a handful in the state. We asked him to read the lawsuit and the county's response. McMillan says one of the biggest problems in the system, everything is done in secret.
I've dealt with San Diego County for a long time. These specific attorneys that are defending this case, I have cases with them right now. And it's typical to see what they're doing here. It's blame assignment, denial, a refusal to be held accountable.
Eventually, in fear of everyone's safety, Melanie took action to return the child to the county's care. According to Melanie's lawsuit, the district attorney's office filed felony delinquency charges against that child for sexual abuse. Melanie says had she known the child's history, there's no way the placement would have taken place.
My children are going to have to live a lifetime trying to get over and deal with this trauma.
And right now, the lawsuit is still in the very early stages in court. I do want to give you some perspective on the child welfare system. As of July 2017, there were more than 3,600 open child welfare cases and more than 2,000 kids in foster care, which is actually less than the year before. There are 712 caseworkers, but not everyone directly handles a foster child's case. Although there is no mandate for how many cases a social worker can carry, the county says caseloads are monitored and assigned on a monthly basis. Adam Rakusin, Team 10.
Now to a follow-up on a Team 10 investigation. Last night on 10 News at 6, investigator Adam Rakusin exposed claims San Diego County's foster system is failing the children it's supposed to protect.
Tonight, Adam has uncovered new details about what happened after one of the children was accused of sexually assaulting other children.
Yeah, and according to the lawsuit, the foster mom says she told social services about the alleged sexual assaults. She says she was in fear for her safety and her kids' safety, so she removed that child from her home. Tonight, allegations that months after she did that and sounded the alarm to social services, the county tried to place that child in another home using a local TV station.
My immediate thought is that it's tragic. You know, the people that suffer here, these kids.
That's San Diego attorney Sean McMillan reacting to this lawsuit filed against the County of San Diego and several employees. Team 10 asked him to read it and the county's response. It claims this foster mom was told a foster child she welcomed into her home had no history of sexual misconduct or any history of wrongdoing. The suit alleges social services concealed the child's past sexual propensities and put the other kids in her home in unreasonable harm.
One of these prospective adopted children end up sexually assaulting all three of Melanie's adopted sons.
Eventually, the foster mom took action and says she returned the child to the county's care. Months later, one of her children says he saw the child who allegedly attacked them on a local TV show. We've blurred the screen so no one can be identified. The TV segment helps find forever homes for children waiting to be adopted. It's part of a local station's partnership with the County of San Diego's Health and Human Services Agency. A spokesperson for the County of San Diego had no comment about the segment. According to this federal lawsuit, the San Diego County District Attorney's Office filed felony delinquency charges against the child for sexual abuse. Team 10 discovered since 2013 there have been 34 sexual abuse allegations from children residing in a foster placement here in San Diego. Only 3 of those allegations were substantiated. But that only counts assaults by foster parents, a group home provider, or an adult relative in the home. It does not count other children who might commit sexual abuses inside or outside the home.
And we tried to give specific numbers of child-on-child abuse in foster homes, but the county says they can't provide that information at this point. It's really unclear whether they even track that. Surprisingly, Child Welfare Services may or may not have the authority to investigate abuse that happens outside the home. If the abuse happens outside the home with someone other than the immediate caregiver, then the investigative responsibilities may fall to law enforcement. Adam Rakusin, Team 10.
Foster children are among the most vulnerable people in the country, and the California agency responsible for the state's child welfare program says it doesn't maintain data on how many kids have died while in foster care.
Our Team 10 investigator Adam Rakusin spent the past 7 months digging into foster care accountability and discovered hundreds of children have died across the state. Adam.
Yeah, and the Department of Social Services basically says that information is maintained at the county level, so they don't. Advocates say that's ridiculous. A local lawmaker says he's going to make sure that changes.
A pat on the back. A comforting cuddle on the couch. These are small moments that can help shape a child's life. We can't show you this infant because she's a foster child whose identity needs to stay secret. But here's the woman who's opened her heart and home to rescue this baby and dozens of other foster kids.
If we don't do it, who else will?
This is Rhonda Oliver.
A lot of people don't like to get up in the night with newborns, but I do. I compare it to my zen.
Rhonda's a former Child Protective Services employee and has a law enforcement background.
So you've seen the worst of the worst?
Yes, definitely.
And decided to do something about it?
What I could do, yeah.
What Rhonda did is devote her life to foster kids. This is the 46th child she and her husband have fostered. they only take drug-exposed infants. Most of the newborns they pick up straight from the hospital.
If something happened to that child, be it in this household or another household, and that child lost their life, would you want everyone involved looking at it to see what happened?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Team 10 discovered that might not necessarily be happening. See, counties in California are required to report when a foster child is the victim of abuse or neglect, or when they've been killed or nearly killed because of abuse or neglect. That makes sense. But there are other kids who die in foster care who don't fall into those categories. We asked the Department of Social Services for the total number of deaths of children in foster care. Their answer, the department does not maintain data regarding all deaths in foster care. They told us statistics regarding all deaths are maintained by the California Department of Public Health. But that department told us they don't specifically track foster care.
Even if it's not from abuse or neglect, what are they dying from? Exactly what? Exactly how it could be prevented? Every single death should have a commission inquiry into it, I think.
Robert Felmuth is the head of the Children's Advocacy Institute at the University of San Diego. The organization works to improve the lives of kids in the foster system.
There are children in a democracy, our children. I mean, yours and mine and the audience and everybody.
Each county in California is required to keep track of every foster child that dies while in its custody. Using open records laws, Team 10 collected the total number of children that died while residing in foster placement from all 58 counties in the state since 2010. Turns out it's not just one or two kids that died. It's 263. Take a second and think about that. More than 200 kids. Most of them, you'll never know their names, never know what they looked like.
Should the news have to create a database that shows how many kids died in the state of California while in foster care?
No, the news should not have to create any kind of database. This should be something that is affirmatively examined constantly, every year. Every time there's a death, it should be a big deal.
State Representative Brian Mainshine agrees.
Absolutely. In order to make decisions, you have to have the data.
We showed him the numbers we collected and the state's response to our questions. He says it's time to make a change.
Actions can be taken at the state level.
Next session, I intend to bring forward some legislation that would require counties to report.
Rhonda doesn't make policy. She's never lost a child, but knows the pain that others who have suffered. Here's something else she knows.
And watching that child just gain weight, be able to eat, be able to smile, be able to coo, those are things that, you know, for me, that's my passion, that's my give back.
And we wanted to know if it was common for states to not maintain data on all foster deaths. So we asked every state in the country. So far, 41 have responded, and turns out most of them do track all foster deaths. And they told us just how many. Only 10 of them, including our state, couldn't give us any numbers. Now, if you want to see the California database that we built, head to our website at 10news.com. Adam Rakusin, Team 10.